Hey guys, Bobby Rio here. I'm with Chris Anderson. Some of you know him as 60. Today we wanted to talk about something that I think is really important because both of us, Chris, if you don't know him, he's been a dating coach now for 10 years, a guy that I really respect, a guy that I look up to, and a guy that I've actually asked to coach some of my clients with issues that they're having. And talking off camera, one of the things we realized, kind of a mutual problem that guys run into, especially guys who have studied dating advice, especially if you watched any of certain videos that I have about nice guy mistakes, is they come up with this idea of being a challenge to women, and it completely and utterly backfires.
Where'd they get that idea? No, but really, I mean, we've all done it. When I first started studying this stuff and trying to get better with women, one of the easiest quick fixes was being a challenge. You really just latched onto it because one of the great things about being a challenge was you didn't really have to do anything. You don't make a move. I'm a challenge. I don't tell her that I like her. I'm a challenge. I'm doing everything right, just like they told me. But sometimes that could be a mistake.
Yeah. So one of the things that I noticed, right, because I always get, and I can even talk from experience, right? I'm a naturally introverted guy. So this advice really played into my personality type, right? Because I was not the kind of guy super comfortable, asking for phone numbers or saying, hey, do you want to come back to my house? So I would always rationalize every kind of pussy behavior that I did as, oh, I was being a challenge. Like when I didn't invite her back to my house, my friends would be like, oh, did you bring her home? Like, no, man, I'm gonna make her want it more. But it was really, I was a pussy, right? And being a challenge was an excuse of mine. And what happens, what I've noticed as I've done more and more coaching is I've created videos, and you might have watched some of them, where I'll say things like, never reveal your feelings too soon, right? Never buy a girl a gift. Don't give your hand away. Don't spend too much time with her. And all of these things are essentially making you more of a challenge. And being a challenge is good. We're not saying not to be a challenge, but there's one thing we always say in the videos, but guys just forget about this, or they conveniently leave it out. And that is this idea that a girl can know that you're sexually attracted to her, right?
That you want to sleep with her.
That you want to sleep with her, right? That's fine. The challenge is, can I tame this guy? Can I settle him down? Will he be my bitch? Is he gonna just be like the guy that falls in love with me after one date? Or is he gonna be a guy that I'm gonna have to work to make my boyfriend? That's the challenge. The challenge is not, can I get this guy into bed? And you going, I'm gonna show her she can't get me into bed.
Right.
And a lot of guys think that, oh yeah, by not making a move, not trying to kiss her, you're being a challenge. But in her mind, you come across as either gay, disinterested, or inexperienced. I had a girl once, so funny, she actually said to me, a girl that I work with, she's like, when I met you, you were kind of a cool guy, but then like you were just like, all the other guys at work were always like kind of like into me, and you like never were. And in my mind, I was like being the challenge. She goes, I thought you were kind of like asexual. We wound up hooking up that night, but it was like, I was like, that's the view that she had of me as this asexual guy.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we see this all the time. I mean, at least me personally, sometimes you meet a girl that you end up liking at the beginning. You don't even know you like her yet. So you're naturally a challenge. You haven't made a move. So she starts thinking, oh, this guy's interesting. He's not making a move on me. And then you wake up one day like, I have feelings for this girl, but I'm still scared to make a move. So now she's even more interested. She's like, he's not making a move on me. But the funny thing is, there comes a point where a girl really knows, it's like, he's a challenge, he's a challenge, he's a challenge. And then it hits them. They're like, wait a second. This guy's not a challenge. He's just a total pussy. Yeah. He's scared to make a move. And then all that attraction just goes down and you're out.
Yeah, if you watch guys, I learned this by watching some of the guys that were really good with women back when I was really studying this. And it was sort of a paradox or a contradiction in my mind that it took me a while to kind of level out and kind of see where the difference was. Because I would see these guys and they would be talking to a girl and they'd be like, oh, just totally into her on a sexual level, right? Just like totally trying to make out with her. And I'm like, this guy's doing everything wrong. Right. Look, she knows he wants to fuck her. Like, he's blowing it. And like, but then he'd fuck her, right? He'd wind up sleeping with her. And in my mind, I'm like, how is that happening when he's showing her? And I realized later that yes, the girl knew that this guy was sexually attracted to her, that she could sleep with this guy. But here's the ironic thing guys forget is girls actually like having sex, right? So that knowing that she could bang that guy was fine, but she didn't know when you have the ability, right, to be seductive. And this is one of the things Chris will blow your mind when he gets into some of that stuff of how to be this seductive guy. But when you're a seductive guy, when you know how to go from being social with her to being seductive and sleep with her, here's the ironic thing. She automatically assumes you're a challenge because you appear experienced, right? When you appear like you can smoothly take things from flirtatiousness to the bedroom, in her mind, she's like, oh, this guy's probably done this a lot of times, and you're naturally a challenge. So it's not about, saying, hey, I'm not gonna try to get you home to the bedroom. It's about being seductive enough that she assumes you're a challenge. And then as we say, yes, all those other things still apply, right? You don't confess your feelings to her. You don't do all those sort of things.
I think she finds it creepy if someone's confessing their feelings and so in love with them before they've done anything physical. And what we're saying is you can reveal the fact that you have a physical attraction for this girl and not lose points. It's the picture you're in love with a girl, Cindy, right? Even if you told your friends, I really love Cindy and I just really wish Cindy loved me, they're going to kind of laugh at you. Chris likes Cindy. But if you're like, hey, I'd love to sleep with Cindy, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's true. Hey, me too. So it's like not something you need to be embarrassed of. You should be proud of it. You don't go over the top with it. You don't want to be a clown about it. But you could let a girl know subtly, which we'll get into in a little bit, that you have those feelings for her, that you'd like to get physical with her.
Yeah, I always say there's, one statement of intent, right? Like one comment, one compliment with a sexual undertone of how she's making you feel, right? If she's turning you on, lets her know, oh, okay, this is a sexual flirtation. And that's all you really need, right? So a lot of guys say, well, what if I made the mistake, right? What if I was too much of a challenge for too long? I've done that, right? I had a girl, and I was actually, before we started recording this video, I was talking to Chris and I was telling him how I had this girl and I was like into her and we were friends, but I'd known this, you gotta be a challenge. She was blonde, and a lot of my previous girlfriends had been brunette, and she kind of knew some of them from our social circle, and I'd always be like, yeah, I don't like blonde. Like I thought I was like being cool by being, I don't like blondes, right?
Especially because that's a physical thing. Like
oh yeah, I'm not turned on by blondes, right? Whereas I could have been like, normally I don't like blondes, but something about you turns me on. Like right. Then that would have been fine, but I was like, I don't like blondes. Well, in her mind, she's like, oh, I guess he's not into me, right? And then we became friends. Now, eventually, I actually wound up getting her into bed, and what happened when I was telling Chris this story a while ago was, he's like, you had made a lot of mistakes, but you did exactly what and he's telling me about a speech he did that I had seen, and we started talking about it. And the reason I bring this up is because Chris and I hold a class that I think you might be interested in. If you have a female friend, a coworker, a girl from your social scene, that you're kind of at that level with where you're like, shit, maybe you were a challenge for too long, and now you kind of feel like you kind of feel boxed in. And the class is about a 1 hour class. It's called The Friend She Falls in Love With. And I'm gonna get Chris on because I can't take credit for any of this stuff. This is literally stuff that he taught me, but I've passed it along to student after student. I always give you credit, Chris. But they're always blown away. They always put it to action. And for the first time, I've actually, like you said, I haven't done a lot of videos with Chris over the years. He's kind of a private guy, but I'm getting him on this thing because I'm like, you got to just teach this, and it's going to be free. There's we're going to do a few classes that you're going to have to choose from. At the link below, when you click it, you'll see a few options. But it's called The Friend She Falls in Love With, and just kind of give them whet their appetite a little bit for it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get you out of that box. I mean, I've spent a lot of my life in the so-called friend zone. I'm sure you have as well. And thinking about how hard it is to get out, your whole life, it's so hard, going back and forth, does she like me, does she not? What we found is it's actually really simple. And another interesting thing we found is it's actually an advantage when you have a female friend. And we're going to talk about why it's such an advantage and how easy it is to get out of that so-called box once you know how to do it.
Yeah, the other thing that I want to leave you with is it's not about getting out of the friend zone, as Chris is the one who actually brought this to my attention, because I'd be like, I have all these clients that want to get out of the friend zone, because first off, it's not about getting out of the friend zone. It's about becoming the friend she falls in love with, right? It's not about this idea, you got to break that glass ceiling. It's like you're in a spot where it's very easy to make what you want to happen. It's not about getting out of the friend zone. So the link to the class is below, and hopefully you can join us, especially if, like I said, you have that woman in your life that you want to expand your relationship with, because we're going to be covering some really, really advanced and really interesting stuff that is really going to take you to the next level.
We're going to show you how to get her. I'm just going to be point blank.
Yeah. So I'll see you there.
All right, bye.